So the electric power generation, transmission and distribution consists only of three-phase sinusoidal voltage and currents. Okay. Till now, in the previous unit, actually in the first unit, we saw about DC circuits. In the second unit, we saw about single-phase AC circuits. Okay. But in any generation station, we never generate the power in single phase. We always generate the power in three phase. Okay. We never use single phase power generation, even though we use single phase power distribution. Even though we use single phase power distribution, means in our home we use single phase power. But in basic transmission, generation and transmission, generation, transmission and distribution, we use only three phase system. Why we need to go for three phase system, that is what we are going to see in this class. Okay, so here what we are going to say is why we moved from single phase to three phase. That is the first thing we need to ask ourselves. Okay, so to go for such a justification why we need to go for three phase, we need certain basic theories to move from single phase to three phase. So now we consider that there are three loads. This is load 1, this is load 2, and this is load 3. All are having equal resistance. Okay. Then we are having a generating source. Here it is a single phase. So here we are connecting this generating source to the load like this. Okay. From this, the loads are connected. So here with this negative polarity or neutral terminal, we will be getting this term. Now there is a wire which is connecting this generating station to this load. So the resistance of this cable which is connecting this source to the generating station, we can consider it as a small r. Similarly, you can consider that there is a wire here. This wire is having a resistance small r, but we did not draw it. But you can consider that there is a small resistance which is available in this cable which is connecting the generating station and the load. Okay, so now we'll make one assumption that the resistance of this cable, that is r, that is very much lesser than the r, means this is the load resistance, this is the load resistance, and this is the resistance which is the resistance of the cable which is connecting the generating station with the load. So since the load resistance is R and it is same for all the three loads, so you can find that equivalent resistance can be given by R3, because if the elements are in parallel and if the same resistance of the all the loads are available, then the resistance divided by n number of loads, that is here three loads are there, then n number of loads is 3, so R divided by 3 is equal to the equivalent resistance. So the equivalent resistance of the circuit is R divided by 3, and the cable resistance is 2R. For the top part, we are having one resistance, that is one cable, that is the resistance R, and the bottom part we are having one resistance, that is also R. So R plus R, we are getting 2R, that is the cable resistance. Now what we do, we calculate the current which is flowing in this circuit. Since R is very much lesser than the capital R, so we will remove this for finding the current. So the current flowing through this path, I, if we are finding I, okay, we will consider it as Ix. Ix is the current which is coming out of the source and which is flowing through this load. Okay, so if you consider like that, all the resistances are same, the current flowing through all the resistors will be same, identically same, no difference. So I will be flowing in all the circuit. So in that case, if you apply KCL here, then it should be a 3I which should be flowing through this path. So Ix is equal to 3I. Okay, now we have to find I. What is I? I is equal to V by R. I is equal to V by R. We can consider like that. So V is V angle 0 degree. So we'll consider it as V. Then for R, it should be the equivalent resistance to find the current that is coming out of the source. So this is Ix you can consider. Then this is R. So this R equivalent you can consider. So R equivalent is nothing but R by 3. So this is nothing but 3V divided by R. Okay, so this V by R, it's a current. So you can consider like 3I. You can consider like 3I. So now what we do, what is the current? This is the current which is flowing in the circuit, which is coming out of the source. Now we will calculate the power loss which is happening in this particular cables. This is one cable and this is one cable. Due to the current flowing in this circuit, there is a power loss which is occurring in this cable. That power loss is given by I square R. You know that the power loss over a resistor can be given by I square R. The power dissipated across this resistor are not considered as a loss, because the power dissipated across this resistor is making some effective work, like it is converting from one form of energy to another form of energy to make ourselves convenient. Then the power loss which is happening in the cable is actually a loss, because here it is not making any effective work. It is dissipated as a heat, but it is not making any useful work to us. So you can consider this as a power loss. So the power which is dissipated in this cable, in the top cable and bottom cable, so we just consider loss across one cable and we will multiply by 2. Okay, so this cable is having a resistance. That resistance into that I square will give the power dissipation. So we have found the current. What is the current flowing through that path? So the current flowing through that path is 3V divided by R equivalent. So if you substitute that here, we will be getting 3V divided by R the whole square into R, right? So if you find the overall value, now the power dissipated across this top cable and bottom cable together is given by, okay, this is smaller. So this is smaller. This is the resistance of this. So this is the resistance, that is small r of this resistance. So now this value, the overall value is coming as 2 into 9 into V square divided by R into smaller whole bracket. So the overall power dissipation only in this particular cables are 18 V square divided by R into smaller. Okay, so that is what it is given here. The power loss in the power cable only is given by 18R into V by R the whole square into W. So we will just, instead of having a single source, what we do is we will try to supply with 3 loads with 3 sources. Then what will happen? Okay, so here we are supplying 3 loads with a single source in this particular left hand side circuit, whereas in the right hand side circuit what we are doing is we are having 3 sources and we are having individual loads for the sources. So now this is splitted. So after you split, the cable which is connecting this generating station and the load, earlier it was having the resistance of R. Now the cable size which is connecting the source and the load can be reduced, because if a cable needs to carry X amount of current, let's say X amount of current, let's say, then if you want to carry X by 3 amount of current in another conductor, then the conductor which is carrying the X amount of current, that should be thicker in size when compared to this, because when you want to carry more current, then the capacity of the cable should be capable enough to carry that much current. So the point is, if you want to carry more current, then the thickness of the wire will be very high. If you want to carry less current, the thickness of the wire is thinner, it is sufficient. Okay, so now for this case the wire should be very much thicker when compared to this case. Now the cable which is connecting the generating station and the load, for that the cable resistance is increased when compared to the previous case, because when the conductor size is reduced, when the conductor size is reduced, now the resistance is increased, because you know that R is equal to rho into L by A. So now the area is decreased. If the area is decreased, the resistance of the wire is increased. So comparatively, the thickness of the size is 3 times larger for this when compared to this case. So because of that, the area is reduced nearly reduced by 3 times. So because of that, the resistance of the cable is increased to 3R. So like that, same thing is happening at all the location. Now what we are having is we are having three sources with with its individual loads. Okay, instead of having one source supplying the three loads. Now this we have drawn in this fashion, but it is having three sources, and each sources are having are supplying the loads, are supplying one separate load by itself, and the cable which is connecting the source and the load is given by the resistance 3R. Okay, so this is again the load resistance. Now what we do, we find the current flowing through this circuit. So the current flowing through this particular circuit is again I is equal to V divided by R. So now you can again skip this load cable resistance. Now the current flowing through this particular path of this particular thing is I is equal to V divided by R. Okay, so the power dissipation in the cable because of this current can be given by I square R, that is the load resistance. Here I square R. Here the cable resistance is, we are just checking the power loss in the cable. The power dissipated in the load, that is not a waste of energy, that is converting from one form of energy to another form of energy. So here we are just seeing the cable loss. So I square is nothing but V divided by R the whole square. Then this is the cable resistance. The cable resistance is given by 3R into 2. Why I have given 3R into 2 is, here the top cable is having the resistance of 3R and the bottom cable is also having the resistance of 3R. So I have multiplied by 2. Okay. So now what we'll be having? We will be having 6 6R, that is a small r, into V square divided by R square. Okay, this is for one source. This is for one source. For one source, the power loss in the cable is given by 6R into V divided by R the whole square. Now, this is for the one source. So for the three sources, obviously we have to multiply by 3, that is given by 18R V by R the whole square. So this is the power dissipation in the cable itself, or power loss in the cable itself. Now we will compare this case and this case. So in the previous case, we got the power loss as 18R V by R the whole square. So here also we are getting the same power loss. There is no change in the power loss. Okay. So now what we do? So there is one cable which is carrying only the return current. Means you can see that this cable, and whichever is connected to the neutral negative, actually this negative is neutral one. So whichever is having this neutral, you can see that that is carrying the return current. Means the current is coming out of the positive terminal. So only the negative terminal is carrying the return current from the load. So what we are doing, we are merging all the neutral wire instead of the three thinner wire. Okay, so once you merge, the circuit will become like this. Now instead of a single wire, a three individual wire, we are having a single wire now. So the thickness of the wire is equal to the thickness of individual wires connected in the neutral path here. So that's why I have mentioned in the dark symbol, the thickness of this wire is 3 times greater than the cable which is here. Now, because of that, what happens? Since the thickness is increased, the resistance of that wire is reduced. Then this cable is carrying 3I current. Okay, so individually it was carrying I current. That is, the I is the magnitude. Now we merged three cables and we had made into a single cable. So because of that, the thickness of the wire is going to increase and it is going to carry the return current of three loads. So we have mentioned it as 3I. Each phase or each wire was carrying I current. Now the overall wire or cable is carrying 3 times of I current which is supplied from the positive terminal of the each source. So positive terminal of the each source, it is supplying one current. That current needs to flow through this path. Okay, so if you apply KCL at this node, we will be getting I plus I plus I. Then if you apply I plus I plus I, we will be getting 3I here. Now, if you find the power loss again, like the previous case, there is no difference here for the the cable which is connecting positive and the resistance is having the resistance of 3R. So for that, if you find the current flowing through this individual load is V divided by R, then the power loss is given by again V square divided by R square into 3R. This is for the positive cable which is connected to this positive terminal. Okay, so now this is three cables are available, so you can multiply with 3. Now this only for this cable which is connecting the positive terminal and the load, that is having 9R into V square R, V by R the whole square as a total power loss. This is total power loss only in positive cable which is connected to the positive terminal. Now there is one cable which is connecting this neutral and this terminal. Now what I have done, so here also we have to find the power loss. This cable is carrying the current of 3I, then the power loss can be given by V divided by R is the current, so I is 3I, so you have this is the I, so 3 whole square into small r. So here also we are getting 9 divided by R the whole square into R. So now the point to be noted here is this is on one all the cable which are connected to the positive polarity, and this is the power loss which is happening in this cable. So the total power loss should be added for this. So here, if you add these two, you will be getting the total power loss as this value. Okay. Now, this is the important point. So what we did, we were having three sources like this. Minute. We were having sources like this. So there is one terminal which is connecting this negative polarity of the source with the resistance. If you connect the negative polarity of the source with the resistance, this three wires we have merged and we had made it as a single cable. And when you make it as a single cable, this cable will be carrying a current of 3I. So if it is carrying the current of 3I, the overall resistance should be increased. That is what we have done here. That is what we have done here. Okay. So now we will define this point. We will define this point and this point. These 2 points are called as neutral point. So now we will define this here. So earlier we were using the same source V angle 0 for all the sources. Now what we are going to do, we are going to have certain voltage at a angle alpha or beta. So this is considered as beta. Here we are considering it as alpha. We are not knowing this value alpha and beta. So now what we are doing, if you choose the alpha and beta in such a way, the current flowing through this path is made as 0. Okay. What we did, we were supplying V angle 0 as the voltage magnitude for all the sources. Now what we are doing, we are connecting all the sources and making it as a neutral point. One terminal, negative terminal of all the sources are connected and all are meeting at the same point. That point we are telling it as neutral. Similarly, on the load end, we have connected one terminal, negative terminal of the resistor, then that you can call it as a neutral. So now both neutrals we have connected. Now there is some current which is flowing through this path, that is the return current. But we can able to avoid the return current which is flowing through this path by somehow. How we can do it? That can be done by the value of alpha and value of beta. Now instead of having V angle 0 for all the phases, we are going to give the value of V angle 0 for one phase, V angle alpha for one phase and V angle beta for one phase. Why we are doing like this? If you do like this, the instantaneous addition of all the things, that is V angle 0 plus V angle alpha plus V angle beta, will become 0 for a balanced system. Balanced load, you can consider it as a balanced load and balanced system. Balanced load means the load resistance of all the phases are same. The load resistance of all the phases are same, then you can consider it is a balanced load. At that condition, the instantaneous voltage will be 0 if it is a balanced voltage, and if it is a balanced voltage and if you are having a balanced load, then the current flowing through this path can be made it as 0. Okay, so if you made the current flowing through this path as 0, then what happens is, if the current is not flowing through this path, then obviously there is no power loss across this or through this path. So if there is no power loss which can occur through this path, because we have made the current as 0, so because of that, you can see that the power dissipation in the overall circuit can be reduced by half. Okay, because this is having a power loss of 9 r v by r the whole square, only that particular cable, only this particular cable, that is the thicker cable that is connecting the neutral point and neutral point, that was having one power loss. The current flowing through that cable is made it as 0, because if you make this system as balanced, then no current will be flowing through the path. So if no current flowing through the path, there is no power loss in that particular cable. Okay, so now the power loss can be reduced by 2. So now we have to choose this angle alpha and we have to choose this angle beta in such a way that the current flowing through this cable is 0. Okay, so what we are going to do, we have to choose the value of alpha and beta. Okay, so that is the thing. So the current flowing through this particular path is given by I neutral. Okay, so now we are defining it as a three phase. So this is R phase, this is Y phase, and this is B phase. Till now we did not define the angle of this. We have to obtain the angle in such a way that the current flowing through this path is 0. So the current from the Y phase is IY, the current from this B phase is IB, then the neutral current is flowing through the path. So the neutral current at any instant of time can be given by IN is equal to, you can write like this, IN is equal to IN angle 0, oh sorry, IA angle 0 plus IB angle beta plus IC, just a minute, whether my screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So now the current flowing through this neutral can be given by, if you apply KCL at this node, that can be given by IN is equal to IA angle 0 degree plus IB angle alpha. Okay, it is mentioned as IR, IY, IB, IR, IY, and IB angle beta. So now this is a balanced system. For a balanced system, IR is equal to IY is equal to IB. The magnitude of IR, IY, IB is equal to same. All are equal to same. Why we are saying IR is equal to IY is equal to same? Here we are considering a balanced voltage source. The magnitude of all the voltage sources are same, and the resistance, load resistance of all the loads are same. If both are same, then you can tell that it is a balanced system. So in a balanced system, the current flowing through the individual phases are going to be same. The magnitude of the current which is flowing through the individual phases are going to be same. So in this case, the IR is equal to IY is equal to IB. So now in this thing, the current flowing through this individual phases can be given by. So now if you take any particular phase, if you are taking any particular phase, the current flowing through this path, the current flowing through this path, okay, can be given by V divided by R plus 3R. What is this R? This R is the load resistance and this R is the line resistance which is connecting the positive terminal under the load. Okay, so this is the load resistance and this is the cable resistance or line resistance. So I can be given by I of any phase can be given by voltage divided by total resistance of this particular line. Why we are considering that why we are not considering this cable is we are considering that the current flowing through this path is equal to 0. Okay, so the current will be dividing in any other phases. Now the current from this source, from any particular source, will be flowing through this path, and it will not enter this neutral point. It will be dividing in other phases. Okay, if some current is flowing in this path, then at any instant point of time, that current will be flowing in other phases. Okay, we'll tell about that. So the current of through any individual phase can be given by V divided by R plus 3R. Then since it is a common current, you can take this you can take is common from all the things. If you take is common from all these things, then you can take 1 plus 1 angle alpha plus 1 angle beta. Now this is the current magnitude and this is going to give the angle. Okay, this one is one angle and this one is one angle. Okay, so our motive is to get in as 0. That is our motive. Okay, so the sum of current at the junction is going to be equal to 0 at any instant of time. So this is our 1 plus 1 angle alpha plus 1 angle beta. Now you know that 1 angle alpha can be written as cos alpha plus j sin alpha. So this is like polar to rectangular. So this 1 angle beta can be written as cos beta plus j sin beta. Again, you are having this v divided by 3r. Now you just expand this in such a way that you take the real term separately and reactive term separately. So here we are having uh, three real terms and two reactive terms. So this one is the real term and this cos alpha is the real term and this cos beta is the real term. So sin alpha is this reactive term because it is multiplied with j, and this is also multiplied with j. So that is also a reactive term. So we have segregated the real term and reactive term. Our motive is to make this in is equal to 0. The sum of current at any instant of time should be made as 0. So that is our motive. So why we are doing that? We are doing that in order to make the power loss in this neutral cable as 0. Okay, that is what we are doing. Okay, so now we have to choose alpha and beta, because here in this complete equation only this alpha and beta are variable, remaining all other component it's fixed. Remaining all other component as fixed, only this alpha and beta are variable to us. So only by choosing the value of alpha and beta, we are going to make the current flowing through the neutral path is 0. Okay, so now we have to make this term as 0. This is equal to 0, in as 0. So this is already its fixed value. You cross multiply it. If you cross multiply it, then you will be getting this complete term is equal to 0 and this complete term is equal to 0. That means real term is equal to 0. That means 1 plus cos alpha plus cos beta is equal to 0. Then sin alpha plus sin beta is the reactive term, that is also equal to 0. Now what you are doing, you just rearrange this equation. This is the real term equation. So you will be getting cos alpha plus cos beta is equal to -1, and you should get sin alpha plus sin beta is equal to 0. So if you want to get sin alpha plus sin beta is equal to 0, and if you want to get cos alpha plus cos beta is equal to -1, then you will be getting this equations to be solved only if beta is equal to minus alpha or alpha is equal to minus beta. You can take it in any way. So now if beta need to be equal to minus alpha, then for the value of alpha and beta which is making this equation to be solved is if you choose plus or minus 120 degree for alpha. So if you take 120 degree for alpha, you should take minus 120 degree to beta. So if you take like this, then only the equation is getting solved. So we are getting two values for alpha and we are getting two values for beta. If you choose alpha is equal to plus 120, we will be getting beta as minus 120. Then if you are getting alpha as minus 120, then beta will be equal to the plus 120. So if you substitute this, then if you find this, so alpha and beta, we will choose one value. If you choose one value, we will be getting alpha is equal to plus 120 if you say, and beta is equal to minus 120 if you say. Then if you substitute this in this equation, then what is happening is our in is becoming 0. This is having a finite value, this is having a finite value. After it is having the finite value, if you substitute alpha and beta is equal to plus 120 and minus 120, this complete term is becoming value of 0. Okay, now the point to be noted here is, now because of this condition, you can, it is very clearly said that the in is equal to 0 because we are choosing alpha and beta in such a way that the current flowing through the neutral path is 0. If the current flowing through the neutral path is 0, then it is obvious that if you know that the current flowing through this path is 0, then it is not at all for required for us to have the cable. Okay, so as of now, when the in, that is the neutral current, is becoming 0, so now there is no current flowing through this neutral wire which is connecting these two neutral points of the source and the load. Because of that, there is no current. If there is no current, there is no power loss in this cable. If there is no power loss and if there is no current going to flow through this particular path, obviously you can remove that path. Okay, you can remove the path and you can leave the circuit as like this for the source. Then you can have the load also in such a way in star connection or delta connection, that we will see later. So here this to be connected and this here need to be connected. Here this is the neutral point of the source and this is neutral point of the load. Here you can see that there is no neutral wire connected. Why? Because the neutral current is made as 0. If the neutral current is made as 0, there is no requirement for the neutral wire to be connected. So if there is no neutral wire, now we have already calculated the power loss in the three cables. The power loss in these three cables is 9R V by R the whole square. Whereas in the single phase circuit for the same power capacity, the power loss in the cable itself is around 18 V by R the whole square. So this is for three phase circuit and this is for single phase circuit. Okay, so now it is very clear from these two values. This is the power loss in the cable for a three phase circuit. This is power loss in the cable for the single phase circuit. In this, we can clearly see that there is 50% reduction of power loss from single phase to three phase. So when you are moving from single phase to three phase, we can avoid 50% of power loss which is occurring in the cable. Okay, so that is the main advantage why we are going to go for three phase. Okay, other advantages are there, but this is the very main advantage. The power loss from the from the single phase to three phase is getting reduced to 50%. That is the very first thing. Okay, so same explanation which I had given before, that is given here. Here what I have done, instead of taking I angle 1 angle 0 or IR angle 0, I have directly given IR as IR into, this is the instantaneous current, that is equal to IR into cos omega t. Okay, like that I had considered for all the phases. So each are shifted by 120 degree. Okay, so initially I have considered as 0 degree and after that I have considered minus 120 degree and plus 120 degree. Okay, so here you can consider that I have taken minus 120 degree and here I have taken plus 120 degree, but here it can be shifted also. Okay, so if you consider plus 120 degree for the Y phase, it should be minus 120 degree for the B phase. So it is a very common convention. We use minus 120 degree for Y phase and we use plus 120 degree for B phase. So we are following that. But in the reverse way also you can use. That means this can be plus 120 degree and this can be minus 120 degree. In that also you can use. Now if you substitute that value here directly, cos omega t plus cos omega t minus 120 degree, and this is cos omega t plus 120 degree. So here we are adding all the current in order to find the neutral current. The neutral current is nothing but IN is equal to IR plus IY plus IB. So if you substitute, if you just expand this in trigonometric identities, then we will be getting uh, current as zero at all instantaneous time. Okay, so the sum of current at all the instantaneous time in the neutral point will be will be zero always. So that is what it is mentioned here. The sum of instantaneous current at any instant of time will be equal to zero. So as I told before, now we have removed the neutral wire. So because of that, the power loss is going to be reduced. Okay, so the point is that again, one more point is in order to transfer power, we are using only three wires for three-phase circuits. Okay, so here we are using only three wires for three-phase circuits. That is advantageous in two ways. So now the power loss is reduced. That is the first advantage, and the second advantage is the thickness and the weight of the wire. Okay, weight of the wire will be drastically reduced when you are going for when you are going for this kind of wire three phase when compared to the single phase, because in single phase you have to use very thicker wire when compared to this, because this single phase we have to use three times of the thickness of your three phase circuit. Because of that, the thickness of the wire in single phase circuit should be very huge. Other than that, handling a thicker wire will be very much difficult. Okay, so this is the conclusion for that overall thing. Here we are going to use only three wires and the power loss is reduced and the thickness of the wire is reduced from comparing to the single phase. Thickness of the wire which is connecting the source and the load is reduced. That is one thing. And as I told, power loss is reduced. And third main important point is the amount of copper or volume or weight. Okay, you can consider in that way. Volume or weight used in the three phase circuit is very much lesser when compared to the single phase. So the copper usage reduction is done by nearly 25 to 50 percentage in the second circuit when compared to the first circuit. If you are using X amount of copper quantity for this particular single phase, then here the copper usage quantity has been reduced by X by 3. So this is also an added advantage of three phase. Okay. Other than that, there is one more advantage in three phase loads are there, three phase machines. You would have heard about induction machine. You would be just heard about it. So the induction motor is a three phase induction motor, not single phase. Three phase induction motor is a self starting motor. Okay, so what is that? That we'll be seeing later. But a three phase induction motor is a self starting motor and it is going to have a steady power. The three phase is going to give steady power. What is the steady power? That also we will be discussing about the steady power in the end of this unit. But the point is, this three phase circuits will be creating the steady state power. Steady power means your power will be constant. Okay, so if the power is constant, it is having its own advantage that is useful in three phase circuits. In single phase circuit, you are not getting the steady state power where the power will be oscillating in nature. The single phase power will be oscillating in nature, that also we will be seeing later, but the three phase power is constant. That is constant, that is very much useful in three phase induction motor. Because of this, the rotor is going to, the machine is going to rotate by itself without any additional support. Okay, that we will be seeing when we are talking about this. So these are the main advantages. So let us proceed. So now when you are talking about Did you understand? Do you have any doubt in this? Why we need to go for three phase? What is the advantage we got when we are moving from single phase to three phase? Did you understand that point?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
could you explain the fourth point again?
Okay, there is two terms. One is study power or torque. Okay, and one more term, self-starting. This three-phase supply will be having the steady power or torque. Steady torque or power means the value will be same like a DC. The three-phase power means if I add if R phase power plus Y phase power plus B phase power at any instant of time. At any instant of time, if I add all these power together, then the total power will be a steady value. This P of T will be a steady value. This is P of T. The instantaneous addition of all these power, that will be a steady value. Steady value means you will be getting a constant power like this. So because of this, you are going to get a constant torque. Constant torque will allow the motor to rotate continuously. Okay, so now there is one term named as three phase. There is one motor which is named as three phase induction motor. That three phase induction motor will be having the steady torque. Because of that, it will rotate continuously without any other external support. Okay, actually, you need further understanding about the motors to explain about this. What is self starting? What is how it is rotating and all. Okay, so for example, for any motor, you need two input supply for the motor to rotate. For any motor, you need two input supply for the rotor to rotate. So there are two terms. One is named as stator and another is named as rotor. This we will be seeing in unit number 5. Okay. So another is named as rotor. Okay. You would have seen in your lab. You would have attended a lab, right? So in that there is a outer case. This they will be saying it as a rotor, and there is one rotating part which is rotating inside the machine. Okay, there is one outside part, that is stator, that is considered as stationary, and there is one part which is rotor which is connected to the shaft. You would have seen this, or all the machines will be like that. Okay, in any machine, if you consider DC machine and one more machine is there, synchronous machine, what you need to do is to make the rotor to rotate. Okay, rotor means in any motor there is some center part that is going to rotate. You would have known about this. Yeah, in a motor one part is going to rotate. Even if you take the pumping motor, even if you take grinder, or if you are taking a mixer, or even in washing machine, you know that there is some rotating part, right? So for a motor to rotate, you need to give supply to the rotating part as well as the stator part. Okay, so this is input 1, this is input 2. One input is given to the stator part and another is given to the rotor part. So time being, you understand that only if there is two fluxes, because of those interaction of the two fluxes, there is going to be a torque. Torque means a twisting force. So because you are giving one supply to the stator and you are giving another supply to the rotor, because of that current, there is going to be a flux. Because of the two fluxes, there is going to be a flux interaction. Because of that interaction, the rotor is going to feel a twisting force. That twisting force is nothing but the torque. So now the point is you will be getting a steady torque if the rotor is rotating in this side, that is anti-clockwise direction. If it needs to be continuously rotating in the anti-clockwise direction itself, then you need a steady torque which is making the rotor to rotate in the same direction for a longer time. So the torque should be a steady value in order to make the rotor to rotate in the same direction. So this is a simple thing. So in general, the motors will be having two inputs, whereas the induction motor is having only one input. Induction motor is having only one input. So the three-phase induction machine is having only one input, whereas the other motors are having two inputs. Okay, so we will be discussing in detail in the fifth unit. The point is here, because of the three-phase power, you will be getting a steady torque. It will make the rotor to rotate in the same direction throughout the time. If it is an oscillating, if someone is giving oscillating torque, then what happens is, oscillating torque means both positive and negative. So if you are having oscillating torque like this, then what happens is, during the positive cycle, let's say this is the rotor means it is the rotating part, and my torque produced is like this. If I have a torque like this, then for one positive cycle, positive half cycle, this will be rotating in anti-clockwise direction, and in the negative half cycle it will be rotating in the clockwise direction. So because of that, if you see it, the rotor will never rotate itself, because for one positive cycle it is trying to move in another one direction. In the negative half cycle, it is trying to move in the other direction. So both the directions are different for one complete cycle. Okay, for one complete cycle itself, it is trying to move in both the direction, one direction for positive cycle and another direction for negative cycle. So because of that, this rotor will be looking like a stationary itself. It does not rotate. So if it is an oscillating torque, the rotor cannot rotate in the same direction continuously. This is applicable for single phase. For single phase supply, this is what is happening. So because of this, the rotor will never move. Whereas in three phase machine, if you are giving input to the stator, and because of that stator we are giving a three phase supply, if you are giving a three phase supply to the stator, because of that there is a torque developed. That torque is going to be a steady in nature, that is going to make the rotor in only one direction. It can be of clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction, but it is going to rotate in the same direction. So you can call that this is producing a steady torque. Whereas in the single phase it is not going to produce a steady torque. So it is going to create a twisting force. For one half cycle it is going to create the twisting force in the anti-clockwise direction. In another half cycle it is going to create the twisting force in the clockwise direction. Because of that, all the time it will be looking like this rotor is stationary always. Okay, so if you have understood something, it is fine. Even no also, it's fine, because we will be seeing this in the fifth unit in detail. Okay, how it is rotating, those things and all we'll be discussing in detail in the fifth unit. Okay, so is it fine? I don't know who asked. Is it
Yes,
fine?
sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. So now the three-phase circuits is broadly classified into two types. One is star connection, that is looking like Y connected or Y connected, and the another connection is delta connected. Okay, so you might be aware of this because we have already seen star to delta connection in first unit. So there we have seen what is star and what is delta. So this is merely a star connection or Y connection. It is looking like inverted Y. So you can call it as a star connection or star connection. So this is looking like a delta symbol. So we can call it as a delta connection. So now, so what is the meaning of this angle 120 degree? So this is V angle 0 degree. This is V angle minus 120 degree. This is V angle plus 120 degree. Okay, what is the meaning of this? So for this is the actual sinusoidal waveform. This is the first sinusoidal waveform. This is the V phase waveform, VA phase waveform. That is, this is R, Y, B. See, often we will be using in the different way. R phase is equal to A, Y phase is equal to small b, and capital B is equal to C phase. R means red, Y means yellow, and B means blue. Okay, like that they will say, or they will be telling it as ABC phases. Okay, so the first phase is having a sine waveform that is starting at 0. Then you are having the second phase that is B phase, that is having a 120 degree lagging when compared to the A phase. That is having 120 degree lagging when compared to the A phase, and the C phase is 240 degree lagging from the A phase. Or you can say that actually you can call A phase leading B phase and C phase. It leads B phase by minus 120 degree. It leads the B phase by 120 degree and C phase by plus 240 degree. Okay, you can consider like this. Or A phase lead B phase by plus 120 degree, or and A phase lags the lags the C phase by minus 120 degree. Okay, how why I am saying this is, if you project this waveform, this is the C phase waveform. So in this if you are seeing, in this between this if you are seeing, it is like the C phase is lagging by 240 degree. Okay, but you can also see in another way, if you project the waveform completely, then this waveform would have been started somewhere here. This waveform, that is the C waveform, would have been started somewhere here. Okay, if you are seeing the 0 point, you can call that this C phase is leading. So if you are projecting it completely, then you can call that the C phase is leading the A phase by 120 degree, or the C phase is lagging the A phase by 120 degree. Okay, so total is 360 degree. Then, so from one side, you can consider like this: your A phase is 0. This is your A phase. Then your C phase is somewhere here. Okay, your C phase is somewhere here. So now you can say that the C phase is having 240 degree lagging, and you can say that your C phase is 120 degree leading. You can say in either way. So here, if you are seeing in this anti-clockwise direction, then this is like your C phase is leading the A phase because we are moving in the anti-clockwise direction. Whereas if you are moving from C to A in this direction, it is a clockwise direction. Sorry, this is from in this direction. From in this direction, if you are moving in this clockwise direction like this, then it is like when you are moving in the clockwise direction, this is like your C phase is lagging the A phase by 240 degree. Okay, what it means is, if A phase comes to the peak at 0 degree, if A phase comes to reach its peak at 0 degree, then B phase will reach its peak after 120 degree, and C phase will reach its peak after 240 degree. Okay, that is what this 120 degree and 240 degree means. So you are having three sinusoidal waveform. Three sinusoidal waveforms you are having like this. Each are for each phase. So each are reaching its peak at one time instant, at different time instant. So if this is happening at 0 degree, just a minute. Okay, if it reaches its peak at 0 degree, this will reach after 120 degree, and this will reach its peak after 120 degree with respect to the A phase. So depending on when it reaches its peak, we can mention it as 0, 120 degree and 240 degree. Okay, so this is about the three phase. You are having a three different sinusoidal waveform. When it is going to reach its peak, that is given by 120 degree, 240 degree and 0 degree. Okay, if A phase reaches its peak at 0 degree, then B phase will reach its peak at 120 degree and C phase will reach its peak at 240 degree. That is what it means. So here, if you're mentioning A phase, this is mentioned as V angle 0. This is mentioned as V angle minus 120 degree for B phase, and this is mentioned as plus 120 degree for C phase. So how it is mentioned is, it is mentioned in this fashion only. Okay, it is mentioned in this. It is like some coordinate, xy coordinate, if you see. So this is 0 degree, this is 0 degree. C phase is either leading in 120 degree, you can consider like that, or lagging in 240 degree, like that also you can consider in clockwise direction. Then B phase is lagging the A phase by 120 degree. So this is B phase. Okay, so this is diagram is drawn like this, but it is slightly rotated and drawn, so it is like this. Okay, so this is the delta connection. Delta connection also it is same. So here we will be getting V angle 0 degree. Here we are getting V angle, for B phase we will be getting minus V angle 120 degree, and for VCA we will be getting V angle plus 120 degree or minus 240 degree. So these two, it will be like that. Then we will be seeing what is the delta connection, what is the star connection. In star connection, what is the relation between the voltage and current, and in delta connection, what will be the relation between voltage and current. Okay, so that we will be seeing. So the instantaneous voltage addition at any instant is equal to 0, similar to the current for any balanced source voltage. The sum of voltages at all the instant is equal to 0. Okay. So the last point, I think it is already 10. We can complete it. So the last point is this A, B, C in the clockwise manner. You can consider it as a phase sequence. Okay. So we will end this class with this point. I hope that my screen is visible to you. So here you can see that A phase is here. This you can consider it as a 0 reference. Then B phase is lagging by 120 degree, and the C phase is lagging by another 120 degree. So this is minus 240 and this is minus 120. So if you move in the clockwise direction, so if you are moving in the clockwise direction, it is A, B, C, then it is having the sequence of A, B, C. Okay, you have to go in the clockwise direction in order to see the phase sequence. The phase sequence for this particular thing is A, B, C. Okay, so we will end this class. If you are having any doubt, you can ask, else we can end this class. You can leave. If you do not have any doubt, you can leave. Or if you want to ask anything, you can ask. Okay, Mradul?
Yes,
Mradul,
sir.
see,
Yes.
actually, today afternoon and tomorrow, the classes are suspended, right? Did you get the information? Today afternoon and tomorrow, the classes are suspended.
Yes.
Sorry? No.
Yes,
or
sir,
no?
we got
Yes,
it.
sir.
Yeah, you got it. Okay.
Yes,
So
yes, sir, we got it.
if it is possible for you, if you can give me 2 hours tomorrow, I'm willing to take 2 classes tomorrow. Okay, so that I don't rush up on the end of the semester. So if you give me 2 hours tomorrow, or and today evening 5 to 6 1 hour, I will be able to complete the syllabus at the earliest. Okay, it is not like a compulsion. If you can discuss with your friends, if they are also willing, you can tell me. I will be taking the class. If you people are not willing, I will not be taking that class for today afternoon and tomorrow. Okay, even if you are giving 2 classes, it's okay. So one class will be on morning and another class will be on evening tomorrow. So minimum try to give two classes if it is possible. Okay, it is not a compulsion. I repeat, it is not a compulsion. If you discuss with your friends, if they are also okay, I am willing to take 3 extra classes. So if you are willing to give me at least 2 classes for tomorrow. Okay, at least minimum 2 classes you give. So I will be able to complete the syllabus at the earliest. Okay, so you
Sir,
discuss with
can
your
it be like
friends.
today?
Huh?
Hello. Sir, can
Yeah,
it
yeah.
be like today one class and then tomorrow another class?
Today one class, tomorrow
Yes, sir.
morning one class, and tomorrow evening one class. It will be like that. I will not be taking more than 1 hour continuously.
Okay, sir. Then we will discuss and I will tell you.
Yeah, yeah. You discuss it with your friends, and you can let me know. It is not a compulsion. If it is okay for most of the people, you can let me know. I will be taking the class at that time. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fine. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. If you people have any doubt.